Fancy some crocheted fruit? Here are 11 free fruit crochet patterns for you to check out. Hi there, I'm Cilla from Cilla Crochets, and I'm here to cheer you on throughout your crochet journey, no matter what stage you're at. In today's video, I'm going to go through 11 free fruit crochet patterns with you all that I've designed. So in this video, I'm not going to be giving you the free patterns. All the free patterns are on my website. You'll find all the links below. But what I'm going to be sharing with you is a little bit of information behind the scenes about the creation of these fruit designs. So I hope you enjoy this kind of roundup video. It is a first for me, so all feedback welcome. But without further ado, let's dive in. I should have said grab a tea or coffee, end your latest crochet project, because it's that kind of a video. I will be sipping away occasionally on my cup of coffee while I talk about these crochet patterns. So I hope you have a beverage that you enjoy and your latest crochet project. Okay, let's get started for real this time. Pattern number 1 are these succulent strawberries. So these were actually my first ever crochet pattern design, and it took me 4 or 5 iterations to get them right. There are 2 different sizes here. You've got the large strawberry, it's got a slightly different top with the 4 leaves and a thicker stem. It's obviously the base of it is bigger as well. And then you've got the little one, which is a smaller shape strawberry with just the 6 leaves on top. So very, very simple designs, but when you're new to crochet designing, it can be challenging to get the proportions right. So that's what I struggled with when I first tried to make these, was getting the tops to match with the bottoms to look like the right size. I'm a lot better at that now, having crocheted for 4 or 5 years more. But this, basically, I created these the first year I made my first ever amigurumi. So I made my first amigurumi in, I think, January, February time. And I designed these later in the same year. So I was still quite new, and that was 2020 that I made these. I did start crocheting before the pandemic, though. Claim to crochet fame there. I didn't start crocheting just because of the pandemic. I started before that. But anyway, these are very fun to make, really simple to make. They work up super quick, and as are all the patterns here, they're for free on my blog. It's a written crochet pattern that you'll find on there. So to make these, all you need is a little bit of Aran or worsted weight yarn in red and green, and then I've used a little bit of white Aran yarn for the embroidery here. You could also use embroidery thread if you really wanted to. You need a little bit of stuffing, and I used a 3.5mm crochet hook, but you could also use a 3.75mm or a 4mm depending on the yarn you're using. Even if you're using an Aran or worsted weight yarn, different brands, they can be slightly different thickness wise, and it also depends on your tension when you crochet as to what hook suits you best. But I do recommend going down a hook size from what the yarn label suggests for all of these amigurumi fruit. I should say all of the amigurumi fruit here I'm going to show you are made using Aran or worsted weight yarn, so I won't keep repeating myself with that, but all you need is some Aran or worsted weight yarn. That is equivalent, I should say. So worsted weight yarn is a term that's most commonly used in the US, whereas Aran weight yarn is most commonly used in the UK. So yeah, stuffing is required for all of them as well, and the same hook size as well. So either 3.5, 3.75 or 4mm, whatever suits you and your tension best. So that is pattern number 1. Pattern number 2 is the beaming banana. This is it. Now, again, I released this not long after I released the succulent strawberries back in 2020. I was very, very proud of this design because being my second ever crochet design, I managed to get the shape to curve with only using increases and decreases. So there's no manipulation of like the shaping, there's no shaping. There's also no wire. A lot of, you know, there are some ways to make your amigurumi pucker in certain spots or whatnot, but I just did this with stitches alone, which I was very, very happy with. This happened to be one of my most popular crochet designs for honestly about 3 years. It is still quite one of my more popular ones today. I don't know, people just must really like bananas, but there you go. That is the beaming banana. Okay, pattern number 3 is the appetizing apple. There you go, I'll give you a bit of a close-up look. Now, this one, again, is a really popular pattern of mine, especially around the beginning of school, end of school. It's great. I've noticed a lot of people tend to make it as a teacher's gift. So there's an idea if you're looking for a teacher's gift, crochet an apple, why not? Anyway, so this one is this one is a little bit harder to make than the succulent strawberries and the beaming banana because a tiny bit of shaping is required. So you'll notice how it goes in at the top and basically puckers inwards. And that puckering is created by a crochet shaping technique, but it is explained in the pattern. As I said, all pattern links are below, don't forget about that. All the free pattern links are below. But yes, it is explained step by step. So if you've never done shaping before, this is a great pattern to try it out with. And also just a really fun and easy one to make. So that is pattern number 3, the appetizing apple. Pattern number 4 are these cheerful cherries, and I've really tried to make these look a bit like an emoji. So a bit of fun, really quick to make, a little bit more cartoony than the other fruit that I've designed. But yeah, that is the cheerful cherries. Fruit number 5 is this delicious dragon fruit. Now, if you're like me, I've never actually tasted dragon fruit, which to me absolutely blows my mind. Lots of people seem to have tried it. I have seen it. I've seen it before when I've gone traveling. In particular, I remember in Cuba when I was there, they had basically dragon fruit fresh on these carts that you could go and have, and I didn't try any. I should have, but I didn't. Anyway, that is besides the point. Here is a crocheted dragon fruit. Now this is, and I will be honest, the most time consuming and hardest crocheted fruit to make. So you do have to have some patience if you're going to tackle this one, just a word of warning. The reason being is to make the dragon fruit, you create the base first, and then all these like leaf bits are crocheted on after. So it's not all crochet in one go. You end up with quite a few threads that you need to sew in at the end. But I mean, the result is pretty special. Like, I'm a really big fan of how this one turned out, even though it is quite a bit of work. But yes, I hope you like it. And I hope those of you, there are some of you at least, that like it enough to persevere with the time-consuming pattern that it is. But yeah, I do love that result. I think it looks awesome. And one day I will taste a dragon fruit. Pattern number 6 is the optimal orange. Now, I really like how the leaf of this one turned out. It looks quite realistic, I feel. This one also has a tiny bit of shaping like the appetizing apple. It's less noticeable because it's just a little bit at the top in the orange bit, and then the leaf and the stem kind of sits in it. So, I mean, let's compare the two. You can tell that this one's a lot more prominent than this one, but it still requires a tiny bit of shaping. Again, it's really simple shaping that's explained step by step in the pattern. So if you find the idea of shaping a little bit intimidating, this is another good one to start with for, you know, giving shaping a first go. But anyway, so that is the optimal orange. Pattern number 7 is the Luscious lemon. There it is up close. So this has become by far my most popular crochet pattern out of every single type of crochet pattern I've ever designed and released. And by most popular, it's the one that's visited the most on my blog, but it's also one that is purchased the most as a PDF pattern in my online shops. So I don't know what it is about a lemon, but people love a lemon. Anyway, I am really happy with how this one looks as well. It's a little understated, it's easy to make, quick to make as well, and there's not much to it. There's no shaping, there's, you know, just standard single crochet, increases, decreases. It is made in 3 bits, I will say that. So this bit is 1 bit, the little bit at the top is 1 bit, and then the leaf is 1 bit. So there's a little bit of sewing, but not much. It's very quick to make. I've seen people make giant lemons as well, and I've tried doing it as well, as just for fun. You know, so you could make a lemon pillow if you wanted to using this pattern. Lots of uses, and just a bit of fun really. Pattern number 8 is the Precious Pear. So this is it here. This one's really simple, only 2 colours. There's no leaf. You know, if you wanted to add a leaf, you could go and steal a leaf off one of these patterns and just sew it on. But the reason I chose not to put one on the pear was because I thought, you know, I wanted this all to be a set. And if every single fruit had a leaf on it, I thought it might just look a little bit too much. However, if you think I really should add a leaf to this pear, let me know in the comments and I will. But very simple to add one yourself just by using probably the apple leaf in a slightly different colour. I think that would look good. But this is really simple to make, absolutely no shaping required, and it's only the 2 bits, so 2 colours of yarn needed. Pattern number 9, we've got the Lush Lime, and no, I did not rhyme that on purpose, but this is it. So this was essentially a variation of the Luscious Lemon pattern. I'm sure you can see the similarity of the shape when they're next to each other. But the body of this is basically a smaller version of the lemon shape. And then the leaf was taken off the orange, or it's a slight variation of the orange leaf. And the stem was also taken off the orange. So I've basically just taken some elements of the other fruit to make the lime. The one regret I have with this pattern is the colours, to be honest. I think the body of the lime, or, you know, the lime itself should be a bit of a darker green, and the leaf should probably be a bit of a lighter green. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure in that, because obviously I'm trying to match all of this and make it look like a bit of a set. So let me know what you think about the colours on that one. But anyway, that is the Lush Lime. Pattern number 10 is the glorious grapefruit. So, can you guess what fruit this was made similar to? So, it's very similar to the orange. It's obviously a lot bigger. It's also slightly flatter in shape, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit more round. That's a bit squidgier. But some shaping's also involved with this one, again with the top of the grapefruit, and the stem and leaf were again very similar to the optimal orange. Again with this one, I'm getting a lot more, you know, the colour situation is getting a lot harder as I start to make more fruit, because I want to make them all look different. I also want to make them look realistic. So I think if I were to go back in time, I would probably switch these colours around, you know, with the optimal orange and the glorious grapefruit, but they were made probably about 2 years apart from each other. So I didn't you know, envision making a grapefruit when I was making the orange, so I didn't really plan that out properly. But, you know, for what I've got at the moment and what I had to work with in the way of colours of yarn, I am still quite happy with this glorious grapefruit. But if I had my time again, I would probably make it in that colour instead and the orange in this colour. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm still happy with the pattern, the way the pattern looks, and I hope you like it too. And that brings us to our very last fruit crochet pattern, which is the tender tomato. I released the tender tomato only a couple of months ago. Again, the body of it is a variation of the original optimal orange. And the leaves are actually, funnily enough, very similar to Hetty the hen, who is an animal amigurumi I made, a little egg-shaped hen. Her feathers. So that was a bit of creative license there of putting some bits of other patterns I've designed together. But I'm really happy with how that one turned out. And that is currently all of the fruit crochet patterns I've designed to date. Now, as a reminder, all of these are free on my blog, so I'll put the links in the description below if you'd like to make any of them. You can also get the PDF patterns of any of them in my shops. I hope you've enjoyed this roundup video. As I said, it's my first ever one, so please be kind. Anyway, I am considering doing a free crochet pattern on YouTube where I show you how to make a pattern, and I thought it would be best to start with one of my fruit designs because they're quite simple to make. So if you have a preference of which crocheted fruit you would like to see a video tutorial of, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear from you. If you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to be notified of when any new videos are released. Until next time, happy crocheting!